Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, we've got a really interesting interview for you today. We're going to be talking about production agriculture, and we're going to be talking about raising pigs, a lot of pigs, 2,500 sows to be exact. And oh my goodness, is that a lot of pigs being born on this farm every year. I'm going to be interviewing Murdock Wynn, who is actually a national finalist for the award of National Star in Ag Placement this year, 2019, because of the work he's been doing on his family's farm his entire life, working with both the pigs and their herd of commercial cattle. He's just started in his junior year at ABAC, Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College in Georgia, and he is studying ag business, and he's going to talk to us about what it's like to get up on that stage. He's done it one time already as a national proficiency winner, and what it'll be like to do it again. We'll start that interview for you right now. Joining me today is Murdock Wynn, and he is coming to us from ABAC at Tifton. I'm choking on it, Murdock. What does ABAC stand for again?
Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College.
All right. I knew that. I've had so many connections with people from ABAC, but I always just call it ABAC, and I forget the acronym. Thank you for correcting me on that. Now, Murdock is majoring in ag business. He's a former chapter vice president from the Colquitt County High School FFA chapter, and he is a National Star nominee in ag placement. Murdock, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, you bet. Hey, congratulations on the accomplishment. That's quite a feat to be selected as one of 4 people throughout hundreds of thousands of FFA students to be a national star.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, you bet. Are you excited? You looking forward to that convention?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, kind of nervous.
I bet. I'm assuming you've gone before to the national convention, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yes, I've been 3 or 4 times.
All right, so you know what to expect when you get up on that stage, all those people out in that crowd, right?
Yes, out in 2016, I was a national proficiency winner in swine production placement.
So you've kind of had this experience a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Well, good for you. Well, I'll tell you what I'd like to do, Murdock. I'd like to start off the interview by just asking you just a little bit about you so our audience can kind of know who they're listening to. And after that, we'll talk about your supervised agricultural experience. Is that all right?
That'll work.
Okay.
Me.
Well, how old are you now?
I'm 21.
All right. And how long have you been part of the FFA? When did you join?
I joined the FFA when I started the 7th grade.
Okay. So, yeah, that's been quite a few years then, right? That's going to be at least 9 years ago, something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. Now, you obviously had the opportunity to get in a middle school chapter. What made you want to join so early on?
Well, my family, we've always been very active in agriculture, and my brother and sister, they were very active and competitive in FFA. So I knew as soon as I was able to have the chance to join FFA, I knew that I wanted to.
Okay, very good. Now, when you're not at ABAC, when you're at home, are you on a farm, or are you in town, or something kind of in between?
I live on the farm.
All right. So what does your family do on that farm? What kind of crops do you grow, or livestock do you raise? What do you do?
Well, we have a hog farm and a cow-calf pair operation. We have 2,500 sows, where we have a farrow-to-wean operation where we raise the pigs to 21 days old and then ship them out to a nursery.
Okay.
And then as well as the 50 head of commercial cattle.
And 50 head of commercial cattle. Wow, that is a lot of pigs. So 2,500 sows, how many pigs does that translate into per year that are born on your place?
We have about 65,000 pigs born a year.
Wow. Yeah, for our non-pig people who are listening that don't quite understand how many pigs are born from one sow a year. I knew that number was going to be just incredible, but 65,000, that is a lot of pigs.
Yes.
Wow, that's incredible. So how long has your family been involved in that?
We have been raising, at this specific farm, we have been here for almost 21 years now.
Okay.
Ever since I was a baby, we've had this farm. And my father, before he purchased this farm, he worked managing another sow farm.
No kidding. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a lot of pigs. So, I mean, that right there that is more than a full-time job. That's an understatement for me to say that's a full-time job. How do y'all fit the commercial cattle in with all of that?
Well, we have 7 other employees that allows us to have a little extra time to take care of the cattle, and which the cattle don't require near as much attention as the hogs do.
Sure. Yeah, you can kind of put them out on pasture and just kind of let them do their thing, right?
Yeah.
All right. Wow, that sounds like quite an operation. So how many different barns do you have to keep that many sows?
We have 9 different barns. 3 of them are gestation barns, where we breed the sows using artificial insemination, and they stay in the gestation barn. And then we have the other barns are fairing houses where we move them to once they're ready to give birth, so they can have their pigs there, and they'll stay there for 18 to 21 days, and then they'll return to the gestation barns and get rebred and start the cycle all over again.
Okay. Wow. So now, does your family own all of these sows, or do you do this on a contract basis for another company?
We do this on a contract basis for another company. So the company, they actually own all the sows. We just own the facilities.
Okay. Wow, really interesting. That is such a large-scale operation. Really, really interesting. So a lot of pork production going on there, cattle, and all of that. So with you and being involved with that at home, probably a natural fit with the family legacy and all of that to go into the FFA. Now, tell me about becoming an officer. What led you to ultimately becoming your chapter's vice president?
Well, I was always at the top or very competitive in my chapter growing up. So I always knew that I wanted to run for office, and I guess that was just something I wanted to try to do.
Well, and you did it. Obviously, you became vice president. So what was it like to serve your fellow FFA members in that capacity?
It was very, I guess you could say it was an honor to be able to serve them and lead them and help them.
Absolutely. I would consider it that as well, Murdoch. I think it absolutely is that. Well, that is great. I'm assuming that you had some great FFA advisors there to kind of guide you and back you up. Who were those people for you?
I'd have to say my advisor that helped me the most would be Adrian Smith. She's the one, well, she was my high school advisor, so for all my proficiency stuff and working with my American degree, she was the one who sat down with me and helped me fill out all the applications, and she was always my biggest supporter, if you wanted to call it that.
Yeah. That is great. And then did you have other advisors there as well?
Yes, we have 4 advisors at the high school. Stacy Beecham, Jesse Bolin, and then Miss Smith. No, I can't remember the other one. And then I had advisors in my middle school and junior high school as well.
Wow.
That were a big help in everything.
Well, great. Well, thank you for acknowledging those folks. And Murdoch, really quick, I'm going to take a quick commercial break and talk about one of my sponsors. I'll ask you're raising commercial cattle on your farm. I'm assuming you've got to run those cattle in and maybe put them through a squeeze chute every now and then.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a great sponsor, Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment. They manufacture squeeze chutes, runways, alleyways, panels, sweep tubs, just anything you need to handle your large livestock safely. You know, folks, when it's time to bring those cows in, you want to minimize that stress, and that means you need good equipment that works well so you don't get frustrated, so you don't get hurt, and so those cows don't sustain any injuries at the same time. And Powder River has spent many, many decades, 8 of them as a matter of fact, developing equipment that will do just that for you. Please go over to powderriver.com and check out what they've got to offer. And please let your local farm and ranch retailer know that you'd like them to be carrying Powder River products so you can get the best in the business. And let them know that Matt Breckwald from the Off-Farm Income Podcast sent you. That's powderriver.com, everybody. All right, Murdoch, thank you for letting me do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let's talk about your supervised agricultural experience. So what were you doing all throughout high school for your SAE, and how has that carried you forward to being a National Star finalist?
Well, when I was in high school, I was involved in the work-study program, which allowed me to leave school early every day so I could go work on the farm. And I worked mainly in the hog farm, where I assisted in the artificial insemination of the sows and feeding and record keeping, as well as processing the pigs. And then I also, on the side, helped run the cattle, where I also did artificial insemination and raised show calves as well.
Okay. Well, when it comes to AI, it's a little different in pigs than it is in cattle, isn't it?
Yes, it's much different.
If I was going to answer that question, I would tell people it's easier to AI pigs, but you tell me, is that true?
Yes, I learned how to AI pigs when I was about 5 years old.
Okay. All right.
And then I learned how to AI cattle when I was 19.
Okay. Yeah, so the skill level is just a little bit different there. And I don't know. I think it's kind of nice that it's easier to AI pigs versus cows, where you've kind of got to go in there and feel where that pipette's going in and all of that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, those are 2 really great skills, and I'm assuming they're crucially important for your operation.
Yes, well, our hog operation is 100% AI, so being able to be good at AI sales is very important with us. I have a 94% conception rate, and my father, he has a 94 or 95 one as well. So AI in hogs is basically, I would say, more efficient than natural breeding hogs.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Do you and your father, you kind of compete on that percentage rate?
Well, my father, he doesn't work in the breeding barn as much as he used to.
Okay.
Mainly it's me and 2 other employees.
Gotcha. Now, if you miss one, that 6% of the time, 5% of the time, so that isn't much. But if you miss one, how long until you know? Is it 21 days? You got to wait and see another heat cycle?
Yeah, normally between 18 and 20 days, they'll return in heat, or either they won't. And most of the time, if it's an older sow, say she's had 6 or 7 litters, if she doesn't catch, we'll go ahead and cull her out of the herd.
Okay.
And the younger sows, we'll give them, they get 2 chances. And if on that second chance they don't catch, then they get culled.
Okay, got it. And so the only way for you to tell if they haven't caught is just to wait for another heat cycle?
Yeah, to check early, and I do check them for pregnancy by ultrasounding as well.
Okay.
But that's normally 30 to 40 days before I can tell if they're pregnant that way.
Okay. Got it. So if you don't see that second heat cycle, you might still ultrasound them and check that way.
Yes.
Got it. Interesting. Well, this is really interesting. So your placement SAEs throughout high school and continuing on, they've all been on your family's farm, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the key to this? I mean, what did you do that is special, Murdoch, that got you to this level where now you've got a chance to be a national star winner?
I guess just working on my family's farm my entire life and having skills and knowledge that are very useful in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's what got me to this level.
Do you think it's something about the record keeping or the applications or something like that? It seems like there's got to be something that stands out about what you've done for you to be selected this way.
Well, the record keeping is probably the most important part of all of it. And the application process is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have a good application, then you're probably not going to make it.
Sure.
So,
absolutely. Well, so what is next for you? You're studying ag business. How long do you have to go until you're done with your schooling?
I have a year and a half before I'm finished with my bachelor degree.
And then once you finish that bachelor degree, what are your plans at that point?
To return working full-time at the farm and hopefully be able to increase the cow herd and further diversify the operation, and hopefully I'll one day be able to be like a part owner in the farm.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, for Murdoch, for a student out there right now who's just getting started in FFA, if they're thinking at some point they would like to be on that stage like you're going to be here in just a little while, what advice would you have for them?
So, get active while they're young and keep very accurate records of everything they do, and work hard at whatever they want their SAE to be, and then I'm sure they'll be competitive in that particular area.
Very good. That's good, solid, and very specific advice. Thank you so much for that, Murdoch. Best of luck to you, and thank you so very much for coming on the show today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining me, everybody. It was just a pleasure to speak with Murdoch, and thanks to him for coming on the show as well. Best of luck to him on that National Star nomination. Really enjoy having you all here on our YouTube channel, and we hope you will continue to tune in and to hear great stories about entrepreneurship in agriculture and these FFA students that just continue to amaze me. As always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.